Hi there, vendor. How the fuck are you?
Doing very well, thank you, Mr. Grumpy Customer. Really excited to be here to review the progress of the project with you and your team.
Okay. Well, I guess we have to do this then, don't we? I propose that you start your song and dance, now.
Well, Mr. Grumpy, we first of all wanted to review some of the positive results that we jointly received in the collaborative technology proof of concept with your lab teams.
Let me just state for the record that I'm unhappy that my people collaborated so openly with you people to this degree on this particular project.
I understand your concerns around sharing of sensitive data, and we are trying to balance that around the goal of making forward progress, so I think we're on the same page.
No, we're not. The technology is crap. I don't believe in it. I can't believe that my team shared any data with you, and I'll ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Yes, and we're sensitive to that, as your vendor. This data won't go beyond this room.
Yes, it will. It's highly likely that you jackasses have already shared this data with my CEO.
Mr. Grumpy, I can assure you that it hasn't.
You know, I told my CEO that this technology is crap. I mean, why are we wasting our time on this, when we could just look at fiber optic wavelengths all day long?
Well, we're just trying to evaluate all possible options to the technology as has been requested by your CTO as well as...
Yeah, he told me no. They don't want fiber optic technology, and told me to go pound sand. Fuck him. All right, continue please, you blood-sucking parasite.
Thank you, Mr. Grumpy. As I was saying, here are some very interesting data points and conclusions taken out of initial technical evaluation.
Excuse me 1 second. Did I mention we won't be sharing this data with you anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You sure did, Mr. Grumpy.
Good. I wasn't sure if we covered that point clearly enough. I'm just saying.
No
offense. I know you're just doing your job. Continue please, jackass.
Thank you. Well, as I was saying, we found some very interesting correlation between implementation of the technology and overall stability factors.
Bullshit.
Excuse me?
No, I don't think I will. It's bullshit. You can prove anything you want in a lab. And in this case, you use my lab. Jesus H. Christ.
All we're saying is that this is not final by any stretch, but it's a really positive indicator of where we can take this. Look at these standard deviations we improve.
Where did all this data come from?
It's from our joint collaborative evaluation as requested by our chairman.
This has to stop. Fuck's sakes, you've probably already shared all these charts, and more with my CDO already. This is grossly irresponsible and highly unprofessional of you vultures.
No, we've committed to keeping all the data internal to your team and our small group. You have my word on that.
Knowing you guys, it'll likely be in front of my chairman tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to explain to him what a bunch of crap and make-believe this all is.
Okay, Mr. Grumpy, in the interest of being sensitive to your time, I'd like to move on to slide number 2.
You can't pull your snake oil, smoke, and mirrors vendor bullshit tricks on me. Would you buy a 57 Chevy today, buy a new motor, and call it a new car?
Okay. I thought we could talk about some of the performance increases we've seen as well as stability improvements.
Did I mention that we won't be engaged on handing you all this free data to do with as you see fit on a going forward basis? I'm going to get my people to manage this in a much more professional manner.
Well, Mr. Grumpy, that's kind of why we are meeting with you today. To agree on the conclusions, and so that way you get to share the data with your chairman and it comes from you, and not us. We certainly don't want to overstep our bounds.
Horseshit. That's your job, and your mandate is to overstep and oversell. It's our mandate to clean up the mess that you guys leave for us when we get asked to make this shit work.
Speaking of that, can we move on and look at the performance gains on the next chart? It's on slide 2 and we feel are really compel.
Gains my white ass. Let me remind you, this is preliminary lab data and you have no business possessing this data. As to what the data purports, it's a lab demo for crying out loud. You can prove anything you want in a lab. It's like statistics. It's meaningless.
Well, Mr. Grumpy, I won't bore you with any more details of our technical study then. So where do we go from here? What is the next step we should shoot for?
I'll tell you what I want to see. I'm going to have my lead engineer flogged and horsewhipped for sharing all this data with you leeches, and pumping your heads so full of all this nonsense, that I'm going to have to go and explain to the chairman tomorrow. I may put my guy in the stocks as well to cool him down some more.
Yeah, okay, well, I was kind of wondering if we should maybe get engaged with your field engineering team to plan to do a real-world trial of this technology?
Come to think of it, if I could, I would also have your disrespectful sneaky vendor ass horsewhipped and flogged as well for these shenanigans. But I can't.
Mr. Grumpy, I think I need to leave now.
I can't have you whipped and flogged because your snake oil selling ass doesn't work in my organization. Instead, I'll continue dealing with your nonsense through official corporate channels. That's what's next for me.
Thanks, Mr. Grumpy. We will follow up with your field engineering team, and we do look forward to the next update after we complete that leg of the project. We are feeling really positive about everything so far.
Jackass.
Bye.